headed back over to town hall?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right, will you take care of
All right.
And so they say, well, you know,
It's crazy.
Thanks, how are you?
So this is it, huh?
And that just was I did, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is public input. Marcy, would you like to?
Thank you. I'll be very brief. I only have 2 copies of this. We'll show it.
Okay.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marcy Bailey, and I'm here tonight on behalf of the North Reading chapter of Stand for Children. And I just shared with Mrs. Vaca to pass around a letter that Stand for Children is actually right now in the process of sending to Massachusetts legislators, talking about the need for relief on municipal health care costs and Relief Now. I'm sure everyone read the articles in the Globe last week, and just what a burden healthcare costs have become across every city and town in Massachusetts. So I've shared with you a letter of what STAND is really targeting in asking whether to join the GIC or also permit maybe towns to have healthcare reimbursement accounts to help out employees if certain costs get prohibitive, but to really ask the legislator to work with cities and towns and give us more flexibility. And it's my hope tonight to ask you to support this effort in the form of a letter to our legislators, to Representative Jones and Senator Tarr, and perhaps the House and Senate leadership, because we all really have to shout as loud as we can to get some relief here. And I know you have a big agenda, so that's really all I have.
Thank you. Yes, I got a copy of it mounted as well already, either from you through email.
I was not on the forwarding trail
Oh,
tonight,
all right.
no.
So I've had a time to look over it, and I absolutely support it. 100%. So we could take a position as a committee and send it out on.
That would be terrific.
Town letterhead.
I did want to mention one other thing. STAND has also been buttonholing legislators in their offices and throughout the State House. And it's looking like there's a lot of talk about a 3 to 5% cut in Chapter 70, with more talking about 3% than 5%. Now, we would hope that the numbers that the governor came out with, we'd be held whole on those. But 3% on 6.8 million would cause us some pain, definitely would cause us some pain, but it's going to be a heck of a lot better than some of the numbers we have been looking at for potential Chapter 78. So I'm just hoping that we're held whole at the 6.8 million number, but 3% of 6.8 million is a lot better than some of the numbers we have been looking at. So it's great that STAND is keeping on top of that issue too.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, STAND along with North Reading United for Education has been working with Representative Jones for the past couple of days. The Republican caucus has put forth a resolution in the House to fund Chapter 70 and unrestricted local aid at the levels in the governor's budget. And tomorrow morning there will be an email campaign from North Reading United for Education, making it very easy for constituents in North Reading to send email to the chair and vice chair of House Ways and Means, and also to the Speaker of the House, imploring them on, that we know there's been pain across the state to many programs, but that causing pain at the local level doesn't really help anyone, and just loses more jobs and hurts education and municipal services. So tomorrow morning, everyone should look out for a campaign that we're going to put forth.
Awesome. Healthcare's a really big one, because that comes right off the top of the town's receipts before monies are split.
Thanks, Marcy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else seeking recognition under public input? No one? Oh. Okay. Is there a group of parents that wanted to bring a request to the school committee about preschool programs? So, hi.
Hi there, how you doing?
Good.
Ed Riley. I guess I'm representing a group of many parents that are that have children in the pre-K program at the batch. Some emails have gone out, so I'm assuming that the group is somewhat aware of the situation. Is that?
Yes.
You assume that? Okay. Well, the problem that we're facing is as of the letter that came out on February 3rd from the Director of Pupil Services made some big comments about proposal, the anticipated enrollment issues and consolidating at the little school, and comments to the quote is that this is in the best interest of the children. And now we've met on 2 separate occasions with the interim superintendent, and last week we met with the PPS director also, and Principal Colleen was in attendance. What we are getting is kind of a contradictions at times, somewhat half-truths about things. We're not getting a real clear picture of some of the issues that are at hand. What we've boiled it down to is that this is an enrollment issue, not a budget issue. But it's funny because when the argument works in favor of talking about the budget, it seems to be a budget issue. But at the point that we were talking about this last week, it seems like all the money is taken care of. This is just because enrollment is down, and they've decided to, in the best interest of the children, consolidate at the roots of the pre-K program, which for parents, we could care less that it's the roots of the program. We have children in the batch. We've had great luck with having our children at the batch. They like going to the batch. So what we determined last week was that this was to consolidate, that there would be better synergy between the two classrooms. Now it's down to 2 classrooms. Okay, what does that mean? Better synergy between the teachers. I mean, it was a case where the little school has 2 adjoining classrooms. That's what this is coming down to. Well, I mean, for us, parents, many of us have children that are on IEPs, and a change at this time is not a very good decision. We feel that this is not in the best interest of the children to move them from their comfortable surroundings, to move them into a new school. One of the other points that was made from the PPS director was that the specialty teachers, the PTs, OTs, speech therapists, this would give them, it would be more efficient for them. So more efficient. So what does that mean? Well, they're going to be spending less time on the road. Does that equate to more time? The question was posed, does that equate to more time for our children? If they're on an IEP and they're getting 30 minutes, does that mean that they're going to get 40, 45 minutes? And the answer is no. So what is the benefit there? It sounds like we're making it more efficient for 2 or 3 specialty teachers not to travel at the expense or at the inconvenience of 2/3 of the town, folks that are coming from the batch and the hood. So I don't know really where we're going with it. It seems like, and one of the comments that was made last week from one of the parents is, why this program has to change now, in the midstream where we have students that are, in the program for a year, move them to the little, and move them back to the batch, seems very strange. Why not roll this out and give parents who may be coming into the program a 1-year lead-in so they know what they're getting, so that you're not moving people halfway through the program, but they know what they're getting. If they enroll now, they know that they're going to be going to the little for a year and then coming back. So those are some of the issues. I mean, there are other issues. I mean, I don't want to make this sound like this is purely inconvenience for the parents. That is a factor. I mean, many of the parents have children not only at the batch, older siblings, but there's others that have middle school children, batch children, and now little school. It's going to be a logistical nightmare for people to try to go from point A at the little to get back to the batch. Now, there was talk about having a van, transporting children, but, last time I checked, gas is, we still charge, for gasoline. I'm sure they don't give it free to the vans in North Reading. So there's got to be some costs involved, and right now we drop off and pick up at the school. So there's got to, Chairwoman Vaca, you had responded to my wife and I saying that there was a budget, this was budget consideration. So I'm not sure, this isn't just for the benefit of the children in the school district. I think that there's got to be some cost involved, but we didn't really get a clear picture. We were told that wasn't the issue. So I don't know where we're asking the school committee to really reconsider the idea of this consolidation at the expense of kids that are on, that have issues. I mean, they have either, it's not just, speech and language issues, it's social issues, developmental issues. So that's a concern.
Well, thank you. You've certainly provided lots of information through different emails and tonight. And as part of our ongoing discussions that are budget related, we will get recommendations from the special ed director on the programs that she'll put in place for next year. And those programs will be centered around enrollment, the number of children in the program, and the efficiencies of getting specialists to the classrooms where they need to service kids. Based on enrollment projections, we need at the very most 2 programs. We have 3 elementary schools. So a decision will be made where to house them, and it will most likely be 1 school building because of the efficiencies. And in the end, our budget for special education is contained. It is our hope to put forward a level services budget for all of our programs next year, including special education. So to the extent that this program can be run more efficiently because of the enrollment numbers, we'll consider consolidation. We're aiming for level servicing in all of our schools, with all of our programs, because we're going to have to make reductions just to afford the increase in cost to keep our services level. Our budget will go up. So
Okay.
we will take this into consideration, and you'll hear back from the superintendent. And that's all we can say right now, because we're still in the midst of putting our budgets together. But it looks pretty favorable for these programs to be consolidated at a single elementary school, and the administrators have identified space at the little. So at this time, that's where that program is headed, unless our enrollment numbers change. So thank you for your information. This public input session is going to end now because we've received your information. We can't get into a debate at this point.
Can I just make one other point?
Sure.
There's one thing that I don't think anybody considered. It hadn't been brought up. There's a half dozen, if not more, children in the program that are on IEPs. And we have the ability, as parents, to reject the IEP based on location. That's one of the, it will list the little school. That does trigger a state, a kind of a state mandated response, and that does come out of the budget. So that I don't mean to be the poison pill, but there's definitely a,
Certainly as a parent, that is your right. But this school district puts kids first. So I'm banking everything I believe in, that ed plan will be exactly what is needed to meet every one of those students' needs. Our special ed director is outstanding. The staff that put those plans together have kids first. So you do what you have to do as a parent, but please don't tell me that ed plan won't take into consideration any student's social position, because this district puts kids first. And that is part of the process of finding the right location for all of our students. And I know Principal Assis, and I know Mr. McKay and Mr. Clean as well. And when they decide where to put those kids and put that program, those kids' interest is put first. So, you know, if you have to go that